Two people killed in a crash involving a school bus.
Tonight, investigating a tragic collision in Caledon just before the holidays.
Good evening. Ontario Provincial Police say a child was on board the bus at the time but was not hurt.
However, two people in the other vehicle lost their lives. CTV's Allison Hurst joins us from the scene on Heart Lake Road, north of Brampton. Allison.
The road has just reopened just in the last 15 minutes or so, nearly 10 hours after that crash. Large chunks of debris line the road between a school bus and an SUV, both in opposite ditches.
Sometimes collisions, it's clear what happened. This one is not.
The windshield of the SUV is shattered and the front appears to be missing. The two collided just before 8 a.m. Police say a student was uninjured and the driver suffered minor injuries. Of the 5 people in the SUV, 2 died.
One was pronounced deceased at the scene. 4 others were transported to the hospital. One with serious injuries and has since been pronounced as deceased.
Heart Lake Road between Old School and Mayfield in Caledon remained closed for several hours. A spokesperson from the Dufferin-Peel Catholic District School Board says, "We are saddened to learn that the accident involving a school bus, which was en route to a DPC-DSB school, resulted in the loss of life and multiple injuries. We can advise that no DPC-DSB students were injured. As a Catholic community, we pray for all those involved and their families."
Obviously, this is tragic. It's tragic on the best of days, especially close to the holiday period.
As crews removed the vehicles from the scene, the damage was clear. Obvious dents and scrapes along the driver's side of the bus and the entire front and driver's side of the SUV, a mangled mess. Police are still working to notify next of kin, and the investigation is still ongoing as they try to determine exactly what happened here. Reporting live, I'm Allison Hurst. Nathan, back to you.
All right, thank you, Allison. An OPP are investigating another terrible crash northwest of Kitchener. A child was killed and another hurt after a vehicle struck their horse-drawn buggy. Police say a 13-year-old was pronounced dead in hospital. An 8-year-old was taken to a trauma center. CTV News has learned the children were the only ones in the buggy at the time of the crash. The driver of the vehicle was sent to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, and the horse was killed. We turn to a change impacting drivers right across the country and a major shift in the kind of vehicles on the road.
The federal government is following through on a plan to phase out the sale of gas-powered cars and trucks by the year 2035. Lots of reaction to the story tonight. CTV's Rahim Ladani joins us live with the details. Rahim.
Natalie and Nathan, good evening. So far this year across the country, 1 in 8 vehicles sold have been electric vehicles, but Canada is going to have to double those sales nearly in order to meet its first target in 2026. And here in Ontario, it's a lot more expensive to buy one. Ontario roadways could sound a lot different over the next decade, with the federal government unveiling its plan to put the brakes on gas-powered vehicles.
We have set ambitious targets to reduce our emissions by at least 40% by 2030. And a large part of this mission is to put more electric vehicles on the road.
Under the new mandate, 20% of all vehicle sales in Canada must be electric by 2026. That jumps to 60% by 2030 and 100% by 2035. But one of the biggest roadblocks against electric vehicles in Canada continues to be price.
Zero-emission vehicles, especially electric cars, are about 14%-ish more than traditional gas vehicles. We do have the $5,000 incentive across the country.
However, that still doesn't make up the difference. Several provinces, including BC and Quebec, have their own rebate to close the gap further, but not in Ontario, after the Ford government scrapped the program in 2018.
Get on board. That would be my message. I mean, especially in Ontario, where with the Ontario government, the federal government is making multi-billion-dollar investment in the EV supply chain.
By 2035, the feds predict 80% of people will charge up at home, eliminating the fear of running out of range on electric vehicles. However, many condos are not equipped with that infrastructure. The Canadian Vehicle Manufacturers Association estimates more than 400,000 public ports need to be made available, and only a fraction of those are slated to be built.
I don't see any effort or plan to get us to that amount with the speed required. The EVs are here, You can go and purchase one, but what we need is the supports to actually help people make that transformation.
Automakers who come up short of their electric vehicle requirements will be able to make up the difference by investing in charging stations or by buying credits from others who exceed their targets.
Now, we did reach out to the province and ask if they're considering reintroducing a rebate for electric vehicles here in the province. They did not give us a yes or no answer, only saying that the government's job is to create made-in-Ontario vehicles and batteries, which will create jobs. Reporting live, I'm Raheem Ladani. I'll send it back to you in studio.
Okay, thanks, Raheem. Still to come tonight, Scarborough's decommissioned RT trains on track to be sold. The plan to get people moving south of the border and the money that could be made in the TTC transfer.
But first, let's head outside and a live look at our city. After a fresh fall of snow, the clouds are clearing with cool but comfortable conditions tonight. Michelle Jones here with a look at the current conditions. It was chilly today.
It was, Nathan, and a lot of that had to do with not only the temperature, but of course the very gusty winds out of the northwest. So it's relatively getting more comfortable because we're seeing those winds shift and diminish as we get into the next little while. And satellite radar imagery not showing us much in terms of precipitation. Any snow squalls we had earlier today have definitely died down at this point. We are still seeing winds around 17 kilometers an hour sustained. That's not too bad considering they were gusting over 60 kilometers an hour through the overnight period. So that was giving us quite a bit of wind chill. We had around -12 as our wind chill this morning. -2 feeling like -7. We got to around 0 or -1 depending on where you were in the city of Toronto. We're looking at an overnight low of -3, feeling like -5 as those winds diminish. So it's going to be certainly a calmer night. We have a lot of sunshine to talk about for the week ahead, but not a lot of snow. I will show you how that plays out coming in your full long-range forecast. Back to you, Natalie.
Thanks, Michelle. Air traffic is picking up at Pearson with planes carrying travelers jetting off for the holidays.
Whether it's a sunny and warm destination or a trip to spend time with family, officials want to make sure the journey is a smooth one. CTV's Sean Leithong is live at Terminal 1 with the details. Sean.
Well, Nathan and Natalie, it's busy right now, and they expect it to be this busy throughout the week. But many people who may be excited for travel can also feel anxious, hoping that their experience going through the airport will be okay. But the Greater Toronto Airports Authority says that there's a lot you can do before you come to the airport to make it work. It's holiday travel time with passengers flying to destinations with family and to see family.
We're from Burlington, Ontario, headed to Montreal.
Miami. I'm really excited, looking forward to seeing my family and friends. Some of them I haven't seen since August.
Rachel Walsh plays hockey in Waterloo and is traveling home to Halifax. She's one of 150,000 passengers who will pass through Pearson today and each day until Christmas. And with a busy travel season, passengers like Marilyn Moore say it's easy to
get nervous and be prepared, and we're early.
While Moore is getting help from her granddaughter, the staff at Pearson say there's a lot you can do before leaving home to prepare.
If you're using YYZ Express, you can book yourself a spot in the security line. Mobile passport control, if you're heading U.S. bound, you can skip lines as well. Also on our website, we have a wait time dashboard. So when you're on your way to the airport, you can see exactly how long the wait times are currently.
Passengers are reminded that any liquids above 100 milliliters cannot go in your carry-on luggage.
So snow globes are one of those items that they don't think it's considered as a 100 milliliter requirement item.
They're also asking people to look inside their carry-on bags to make sure there aren't any items like these, all confiscated at security here. For those arriving here,
make sure that your gifts are actually unwrapped. It's very important to know that we may need to verify what those goods are.
The Canada Border Services Agency is reminding travelers that if you've been out of the country for 48 hours, you can bring $800 worth of goods, 1.1 liters of liquor, or 1.5 liters of wine, or a case of 24 beers. But no cannabis.
Anything with THC, CBD, unless you have an exemption or authorization from Health Canada. So a doctor's note will not qualify.
And they say for anyone re-entering the country, it's always a good idea to have your documents in hand when you enter customs. And travelers are also being reminded that they can use the ArriveCan app when coming back from abroad to help them get through customs quickly. Reporting live, I'm Sean Leithong. I'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Sean. And the spirit of the season is being felt in Mississauga tonight.
That's where we continue our quest with the Salvation Army to build a mountain of toys. CTV's Andrea Case joins us live with more. Hey, Andrea.
Hey, good evening, Natalie and Nathan. Here I am at Mississauga Community Church, and the band just started, Joy to the World. I'm going to introduce you to the folks I'm here with. Your name is?
Tharwat. Joel Binner.
Aaron Boyle.
Okay, Aaron, we know. We see Aaron every day. Aaron, you must be putting a lot of miles on your vehicle, traveling for Toy Mountain. We are in Mississauga, and we have the acting mayor of Mississauga, along with the councillor. We have acting and former acting mayor. Chris Fonseca, say hello to our folks at home.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Andrea. Thank you so much for being here in Mississauga and 28 years of CTV contributing to Toy Mountain. It's absolutely magical. It's amazing.
Okay, so you were the acting mayor recently, a few months ago, but now you, John Kovacs, I'm going to scooch in here. You are the acting mayor for Mississauga. How is Mississauga these days? Everything under control?
It's going so well, Andrea. Thank you for being here. And we've got a united council. We've got so many great members joined here by my colleague, Councillor Fonseca, who did serve as the acting mayor for October and November so well. And I will be seeing us through this month and into the new year into February.
Okay, so as everyone probably knows, Bonnie Crombie is no longer she's still officially the mayor of Mississauga, but she is stepping down. Neither one of these two folks here are going to announce today that they're running, but why is it important that they're not going to run. Why is it important that people donate to Toy Mountain?
Well, it's important because Salvation Army and CTV, and you've proven this over the last 28 years, you bring hope to families who are in need, children who are in need. Anything that we can do to put a smile on children's faces this time of the year it just fills us with hope and joy. And we thank you so much for everything that you are doing.
Well, thank you very much. Well, lots more to come here from Mississauga as we continue to build a mountain of toys. Send it back to you.
All right, thank you, Andrea. Scarborough's RT cars have been sitting idle for months now, ever since Line 3 was decommissioned earlier this year.
But they could soon be back on the tracks to get people moving south of the border. CTV's Mike Walker joins us live from the McCowan TTC yard with the details. Mike.
Well, Natalie, Nathan, Detroit is one of the few cities in North America that runs the same trains as the Scarborough RT. It's looking to purchase about a dozen RT cars plus other infrastructure to extend the life of its aging fleet. Sitting idle in a rail yard for months now after being decommissioned, the Scarborough RT trains may get a new lease on life in Detroit for its People Mover rapid transit system.
They thought there was value in being able to use some of our equipment for their purposes.
Detroit's Transportation Corporation Board has given the green light to negotiate an agreement with the TTC to purchase the Scarborough RT trains plus parts and equipment for $1 million US plus shipping.
That'll help us extend our fleet out and have a more robust, newer fleet, as your fleet was just certified and rebuilt.
The People Mover in downtown Detroit uses the same technology as the RT. Most of those parts are no longer manufactured. Detroit plans on purchasing 10 to 12 RT cars.
We're looking at taking the cars, changing them, retrofitting them a little bit to fit our line. Help us extend another 3, 5, 7 years down the line until we can go out for tender for a new fleet.
A derailment in July forced the TTC to shut down Line 3 ahead of schedule and replace it with buses until the Scarborough subway extension is complete. While Detroit will make use of the assets, the TTC says the cost was simply too much to put the RT line back in service, which was a decade past its design life.
For us to continue running the SRT would require significant investment in the track system. And as we saw in July, there are a number of bolts that were at issue. We'd have to go through and completely, re-examine the entire SRT network.
With the subway extension scheduled to be completed in 2030, transit riders are hoping the TTC will use the proceeds to help improve transit in Scarborough.
Especially since it's getting difficult to get to downtown Toronto and stuff like that.
Just make it more accessible. It's difficult because when they close that down. So.
The TTC plans on keeping some of the trains preserved at the Halton Rail Museum and for future use by the city. Now, terms of the agreement are still being finalized. Transit officials in Detroit are hoping to start receiving some of the parts and infrastructure by next spring. Reporting live, I'm Mike Walker. Natalie, back to you.
Thanks, Mike. Ontario's budget watchdog is out with a review of government spending in the first half of this fiscal year. The Financial Accountability Officer found while overall spending is up, the government didn't use all the cash it intended to.
Actual unaudited spending was $83.6 billion. This was $2 billion, or 2.3% less than the province had planned to spend.
The government spent less on debt and education because of the $10 a day childcare program and services like Ontario Works and ODSP. The government pulled almost $280 million out of its contingency fund, most of it to pay for higher healthcare costs. The opposition says the PCs are using that fund like an emergency ATM.
The fact that this government actually spent less than planned on core services is really a demonstration of how disconnected they are from the people that were elected to serve.
The government says the FAO's work is only a snapshot in time and doesn't reflect actual spending.
Economists say it won't change the Bank of Canada's plans. The annual inflation rate did not budge in November. Inflation held steady at 3.1% as higher prices for clothing and recreation applied upward pressure. Grocery prices increased 4.7% last month, but were down from 5.4% in October. Energy prices fell 5.7% compared with a 5.4% decline in the prior month.
We're right in the ballpark, and if you take out the higher cost for mortgage interest, we're actually at 2.1%. So once again, the biggest driver of inflation is the Bank of Canada itself hiking rates, leading to higher costs on mortgages. If we didn't have that, we would be right within what we're looking for, that 1 to 3% band.
Experts still expect the central bank to begin trimming rates around the middle of next year.
Canada's population is growing. The latest figures were released today. October 1st estimates by Stats Canada put the total number of people in this country at more than 40.5 million. Canada's population increased by more than 430,000 during the third quarter, the fastest pace in any quarter since 1957. Population growth over the first 9 months of this year has already surpassed the total growth in any other year, including the record set in 2022. That has been fueled by international migration and includes about 313,000 non-permanent residents who came to Canada.
The Canadian military released details of its role in a naval task force that will patrol the Red Sea.
The international operation will protect commercial vessels coming under attack in connection with the war between Israel and Hamas. CTV's Adrian Gabriel reports.
As the war in Gaza rages on, the conflict has spread to international waters. For days now, Yemen's Houthi militants have been attacking commercial ships in the Red Sea, claiming they're acting in solidarity with Palestinians as they attack vessels with Israeli connections. The aggression sparking an international response today from the U.S., Canada, and more than 10 other nations.
We've launched Operation Prosperity Guardian under the umbrella of Combined Maritime Forces to conduct joint patrols in the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden.
The Department of National Defence sent out this statement saying the Canadian Armed Forces are deploying 3 staff officers to support the operation. While modest, Canada's contribution to the operation is being called a positive step by retired Major General David Fraser.
The war in Gaza is affecting the global economy, so this is a good step for Canada.
Danish shipping giant Maersk and BP have paused shipments through the region. Approximately 10% of the world's oil travels through the Suez Canal. Any sustained disruption on the open water could lead to higher oil prices and inflation.
This blockade would continue into the new year. We will certainly see impact.
As smoke rises from southern Gaza today, so do calls for a sustained ceasefire from a growing number of Western nations.
Israel is ready.
Israel's president saying the country is ready for another humanitarian pause in Gaza to secure the release of more hostages. Hamas has said any negotiations for prisoner exchanges will only happen after the war stops. The Canadian staff officers will be deployed as early as next week under Operation Artemis, which is the armed forces mission in support of peace and security in Middle East waters. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News, Toronto.
There have been nearly 100 hate crimes reported in Toronto since the onset of the Israel-Hamas war, part of a disturbing increase this year. Between January 1st and December 17th, there were 338 reported hate crimes in the city. That is a jump of 41% compared to the same period in 2022. There have been 147 anti-Semitic hate crimes reported so far this year, compared to 81 in 2022, and 37 anti-Muslim, Palestinian, and Arab reported hate crimes, compared to 14 during the same period last year. Chief Myron Demkew updated the Toronto Police Services Board today.
Our commitment is unwavering. We are steadfast in our resolve to ensure that the Palestinian, Muslim, Jewish, all communities for that matter, are kept safe from acts of hatred and violence. We must be and we will be there for all of our communities across the city.
The police chief says reported hate crimes against members of Toronto's LGBTQ+ community also increased this year.
A couple of 12-year-old girls want to make sure the plight of the hostages captured on October 7th isn't forgotten. They've joined a campaign to send them messages of hope and, in the process, push for action. CTV's Beth McDonnell has the story.
Dear Arbel, I'm truly sorry that you have been taken. It is horrible and terrible.
They are words of comfort and encouragement.
You are a brave, beautiful, and talented person. This will soon pass, I guarantee.
Letters penned by Ainsley Davidson and Haylin Freeman, 12-year-old girls in Toronto, to hostages in Gaza. Soon they'll celebrate their bat mitzvahs. This, a special project they chose themselves in the lead-up.
I think these letters might just bring them a little joy, just brighten their day, just a little. Just hope they feel that they're not alone. I want them to feel like there's so many other people that cares about them. I wrote these so they would know that someone's always thinking about them. I wrote one to Aviv. She's 4 years old. I wanted her to feel loved and thought about.
Warm socks. It's cold there now.
Nearby, community members collected toys, clothing, and hygiene products for the hostages, dropping it off at the Canadian Red Cross office in Mississauga. The letters and items all part of a push to send a message to the Red Cross about the international humanitarian organization's lack of action to care for the hostages.
Nobody seems to care about them. And just imagine what a single day is like under those kind of conditions for a captive.
The girls are two of around 1,000 volunteers writing letters in the GTA over the past month. Freeman also got her friends to help write.
How did this happen? Why? What did they do? And it's heartbreaking.
The letters are going to the Canadian Red Cross in Ottawa. It tells CTV News the Red Cross has repeatedly called for access to the hostages, but to date has been denied. It says letters have been received and it's working with the goal of delivering them as soon as possible. The girls want their letters to reach the hostages.
It just might give them dignity and just support, just saying I support you and I love you and I know this will get better.
With the hope they'll all shortly be safe and free. Beth McDonnell, CTV News.
In Iceland, lava coming from a volcano appears to be flowing away from the only nearby town. The intensity of the eruption is decreasing, even though seismic activity could last months. The nearly 4,000 residents of the fishing town of Grindavik will be spared because the lava is not headed their way. The government also says flights are unlikely to be affected. The volcano erupted late yesterday after weeks of intense seismic activity.
In Texas, Blue Origin's rocket lifted off in its first mission since being grounded 15 months ago.
We have ignition of our BE-3 engine.
The New Shepard is the company's only active rocket that can carry humans and cargo to the edge of space. Today, it deployed 33 research experiments in a pod that returned to Earth minutes later. There was a mid-flight failure last year because of a structural failure in the rocket's engine nozzle.
Coming up, how a rare neurological disorder is affecting superstar Celine Dion. Dion's sister provides an update on the singer's health. Our Pauline Chan has the latest.
And I'm Pat Foran. Coming up on Consumer Alert, if you're trying to save money this holiday season, would you ever buy refurbished products? Some people might have concerns, but more companies are selling them, and they guarantee they're just about as good as new. I'll have my reports. That's just ahead.
Well, at this time of the year, many people might be wondering about whether we'll have a white Christmas. So here's a quick reminder of what the definition from Environment Canada of that is. 2 centimeters of snow on the ground Christmas morning at 7 a.m. And apparently there's also a perfect Christmas, which includes snow falling. I think a perfect Christmas is any Christmas you get to spend with people you love, but snow accumulation not looking like much of a thing in the next little while. Stay with us. We have much more coming up for you this evening on CTV.
Speaking of perfect, I'm in Mississauga along with the Port Credit hockey team as well as Revival Dance Company. I'm Andrea Case at the Mississauga Community Church, and I'm here with Joel, who is the director of the church. Joel, how important is the fact that people are donating to the Salvation Army this time of year?
Well, if it wasn't for the community here supporting us today and the community out in Mississauga, we wouldn't be able to make this happen. So really, we rely on the community and the support from the community to be able to serve the community.
Okay, so it's getting down to the crunch now. We are just a few days away from Christmas. We're still looking for donations because we're just over halfway there. So we've got a long way to go. So anything you can donate is great. Of course, to donate, you want to text toys.toymountain@bellmedia.ca, and that's the email you can send pictures to. But if you want to text 30333 and donate $25. You can tell Lindsay's away. I'm new at this, so Lindsay has not had her baby as far as I know. Fingers crossed, we'll let you know as soon as that happens. So lots of time, folks, for you to donate. We are always accepting donations. We are helping to build a toy. A toy. One more time, a toy. Stay with us, folks. There's more to come after the break.
With the cost of everything on the rise these days, you may have wondered about buying refurbished products to save money.
Some shoppers might be concerned that they are getting someone else's problems, but those in the industry say that's not the case. Here's Pat Foran and Consumer Alert. Pat.
Thanks, Natalie and Nathan. Some people think products that are refurbished were defective or broken, but many of them are returned because they're the wrong size or the wrong order. It's why some items could still have a long life and save you money.
We got everything here, absolutely.
MTC Factory Outlet in Bowmanville has hundreds of appliances, TVs, and other electronic items.
We have PS4s, the original PS4, 500 gig, as low as $249.99.
While all products are labeled refurbished, the company says many of them are retail returns and canceled orders. Raj Singhal says some may have a slight cosmetic blemish, but most are in like-new condition.
We buy the products, they come into our facility, they undergo a strict process of evaluating the unit, testing the product, and then we sell it as refurbished.
Singhal says all products are carefully inspected before they're offered for sale. Prices are 20% lower than retail, and TVs come with a 2-year warranty and appliances with a 3-year warranty.
Well, you get peace of mind, save money, the product's in stock.
Refurbished items can also keep slightly older models out of landfills, as well as helping your budget.
We found that you can save between 15 and 20%, plus an additional 10% for each year since the product's been released, versus buying new.
There are more safeguards buying a refurbished item than buying a used one on classified websites. When buying refurbished products, look for a certified reseller. You can also buy direct from the manufacturer. Make sure it includes a warranty and check the return policy carefully. Different companies will have different rules when it comes to their refurbished products. You should also open the item as soon as you receive it to make sure it works and has all its accessories. MTC says it's been in business for 25 years and says consumers should know there are benefits to buying refurbished goods.
We encourage people to at least investigate that and look at your options, particularly given this economy and the tough times that everybody's going through.
And you may also want to consider laptops and tablets when buying refurbished items. Smartphones and even headphones are also commonly inspected and resold by manufacturers. On your side, I'm Pat Foran.
If you have a consumer story idea, email us at alert@ctv.ca.
All right, to the forecast, a lot of us were out wearing those big, warm parkas today, myself included.
Yeah, no snow coming up, but a lot of sunshine, you were saying, Michelle.
As we get into the week ahead, and a lot of people were maybe hoping for a little bit more snow yesterday than we did get. I know, for example, my son, he tried to make a snow angel this morning, didn't work so well. But yes, the bright spot literally is that we're getting more sunshine as we get into this week, and we're leaving some of those grayer days we had over the weekend and yesterday behind us. Weather is brought to you by Train, the most reliable heating and cooling brand. It's hard to stop a train. Now, Nathan mentioned, of course, temperatures. Yes, very brisk start to the day this morning, especially when we factored in the wind chill. Winds were very gusty last night through that stormier weather and into the morning, even into the day today, making it feel colder than -12, -13 for many of us. We have seen those winds diminish, temperatures dropping a little bit from the -1 or 0 they were at its warmest point. So it feels like -9 right now. But as we get later into the evening, those winds will get even less gusty over the next little while. Quick look at our satellite radar showing us not a lot going on. We're seeing some nice clearing, and that will continue through the overnight. A little more cloud cover further to the east than we're seeing here in the GTA and areas to the southwest and to the north of us. And -3 feeling like -5 is where we're headed in terms of our overnight low. And a milder day as we get into tomorrow, a bit above our normal, but it's still relatively seasonable, I would say. 3 degrees on the plus side, feeling closer to 1 when you factor in winds, which are relatively negligible. We'll have some cloudier periods, but for the most part, we're going to see some nice sunshine throughout the region. So that low that affected us, that moved through yesterday, that's continuing to push off to the east. There is another one off to the northwest of us, and we're going to get additional clearing once this cold front moves through, but it's not going to bring us much in terms of precipitation. It's a little bit on the weaker side. So putting our forecast radar in motion, a little bit of cloud cover here and there. Tomorrow we'll start out a little clearer, get some cloudier patches at times, and then as we get into Wednesday night, overnight into Thursday, that's when we see things clearing out even more. In fact, as we get to Thursday, Friday, and even into Saturday, that's when we get the most sunshine. And we stay in a slightly milder pattern. We're not dipping into very, very cold air in the next little while. So any snow that we do have on the ground or that we have seen might not really make it through the weekend, and I'll show you why. 3 degrees on the plus side. Tomorrow we'll get some sunshine, some cloudy periods, then -1 overnight. Winter begins on Thursday with a low of -1, then +1 for Friday. Saturday up to +4, and then we're at 6, 7, and then 6 degrees again through Christmas Eve into Boxing Day. Back to you, Nathan.
All right, thank you, Michelle. The Lion King takes the stage in Toronto next November, and you have a chance to be a part of it. The casting call is here. The details coming up.
CTV's Toy Mountain campaign in support of the Salvation Army. It is underway right now, and you can be a part of it.
You can help by dropping off a toy at one of the Toy Mountain locations.
You can text toys to 30333.
You can donate online or visit toymountain.ca.
To learn more about the campaign, including where drop-off locations are
and how you can donate.
And give a child a very Merry Christmas.
And with that, lots of generous viewers supporting Toy Mountain.
But time is running out to give. CTV's Andrea Case joins us once again from the Mississauga Community Church. Andrea.
I'm dancing. Work with me here. I'm putting it together. But first of all, let's see all the parents here. A round of applause for the parents. Because without the parents, these kids could not have made it here today. So we're back with the Port Credit Storm. We're here with the coach of the team, Steve. Steve, why was it important that you get the kids involved in Toy Mountain?
Well, Andrea, thanks for having us. Again, this year, second year doing this. It's important because the kids, they learn a lot about hockey, but life lessons, giving back to the community is so important, right? Okay. So we're here to represent Port Credit Hockey, our sponsor, Prestige Homes, and the kids are here tonight with part of their own haul, their own donation. We're also been helping out with one of the Salvation Army kennels, and our box is still open at Port Credit Arena if you want to donate. And kids, here they go. Okay, so you move along there. Yeah. You've had your turn. The captain of the team is James. Now, James, you may remember, came out last year and spoke. Apparently, he spoke so well, he's now the captain of the team. Why is it important that the kids donate to Toy Mountain?
I mean, we're out here representing Port Credit Hockey. This helps build, team morale. This gathers us, collects us as a team. It's good to, spread Christmas joy. And, yeah, that's about it.
How's the hockey season going?
Pretty good. We're second right now. We just moved down, unfortunately. But
you were number one before?
Yeah, this past weekend.
That'll just make you work harder, no?
Yes, it will. We're planning to come right back to number one following the Christmas break.
Okay, good luck, everybody. Now let's move over to the dancers. Okay, so again, you don't want to see me dancing, but we have the great team here from Revival Dance Company. Your name is?
Hi, I'm Diana.
And why was it important, Diana, that your organization takes part in Toy Mountain?
Well, we have collected over 150 toys for CTV's Toy Mountain, and we think it's super important for all kids to have a fulfilling and happy Christmas.
So Diana used just to be a dancer, but now she's also a teacher at the school. You're still a student, correct? Your name is?
My name is Gabriella.
Okay, Gabriella, again, Toy Mountain, you could be doing anything, donating to any organization. Why Toy Mountain for you?
I think I donate to Toy Mountain just because it's like so important for every kid to wake up on Christmas morning and have a toy under the tree.
Okay, where's Graciela? Come on over, Graciela. I met Graciela in the bathroom, so I'm just going to give her a shout out. She was so kind to me in the ladies' room. For you, what's your favorite dance?
I do jazz. It's really fun, yeah.
You do a little jazz for me now? No, I'm just kidding. That is it for right now. Again, folks, still lots of time to donate to Toy Mountain. Our program ends on Friday. She's blushing. On Friday, but we're always accepting donations. Salvation Army needs your help. Reporting from Mississauga, I'm Andrea Case. We'll send it back to the studio.
Thanks, Andrea. Well, we are getting a heartbreaking update on the health of international superstar Celine Dion.
It comes from her sister, Claudette, who's sharing details of the singer's worsening condition, living with a rare neurological disorder. CTV's health reporter Pauline Chan explains.
Celine Dion first announced her diagnosis of stiff person syndrome in December of 2022 after experiencing sudden and severe muscle spasms.
Have been diagnosed with a very rare neurological disorder called stiff person syndrome, which affects something like 1 in a million.
Now in an interview with French magazine 7 Jours, her sister Claudette Dion says Celine is, quote, working hard, but she doesn't have control over her muscles. What breaks my heart is that she's always been disciplined. She's always worked hard. Claudette points out that the vocal cords are also muscles, a particular challenge for the 55-year-old Grammy Award-winning singer.
In my entire career, I've seen between 5 and 10 cases.
Dr. Alfonso Fasano says there are different types of stiff person syndrome, sometimes affecting just one part of the body, such as a leg. And there may be different causes, certain antibodies, sometimes cancer, and sometimes the cause is just unexplained.
There are treatments, and people, for the most part, improve, and they have quality of life.
He says it's particularly difficult if a person's career depends on their physical skills like singing, and the decision to step back can help.
Better to stop doing what they're doing, which is what she did. Also because sometimes the health itself worsens because of the stress and not being able to perform. And stiff person syndrome is an autoimmune disease.
Claudette Dion hopes her sister will be able to return to the stage in time. In the meantime, her openness about her condition is encouraging others with stiff person syndrome by lending credibility to a little recognized illness.
And the other message is not to be ashamed of having a disease.
Pauline Chan, CTV News.
The current members of the band The Guess Who are calling for a lawsuit brought against them by their former bandmates to be dismissed. Former members Burton Cummings and Randy Bachman filed a $20 million lawsuit in October against Gary Peterson and Jim Cale, both original members. The suit alleges the pair formed a cover band to perform and record as Guess Who and accuses them of misleading the public. Peterson and Cale say the lawsuit is meritless.
On stage now, an original Scottish retelling of Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice gets a makeover.
It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife.
It's quite hard to tell people what they're coming in to see. And I think people expect sometimes quite a stuffy period drama. And so they come in and it's just so vibrant and you can see their faces sort of go like, oh, I wasn't expecting this. And I think that's the thing that is so joyful, is sort of sitting back and being like, you don't know what's about to happen here.
His classic story now told from the servant's point of view. Called Pride and Prejudice, sort of, it features an all-female award-winning cast and is currently on stage at the CAA Theatre. After opening just last week, it has already been extended until January 21st.
And if you've ever dreamed of performing on stage, now could be your chance. Casting is underway for the Toronto production of The Lion King. Video submissions are being accepted for a variety of roles, including Scar, Mufasa, Simba, and Pumbaa, just to name a few. The Lion King takes the stage at the Princess of Wales Theatre next November. Audition details are on the Mirvish website.
The Stars Tonight is brought to you by Lastman's Bad Boy, court-approved liquidation sale.
On the next CP24 Breakfast, our holiday giveaways continue.
We've got gadgets up for grabs, including a Nintendo Switch, a Nikon camera, and a HyperX gaming bundle.
CP24 Breakfast up first at 5:30.
Sometimes collisions, it's clear what happened. This one is not.
Updating our top stories, 2 people in an SUV were killed in a collision with a school bus in Caledon today. The bus driver suffered minor injuries and a student on board was not hurt. 3 people in the SUV were taken to hospital.
We have set ambitious targets to reduce our emissions by at least 40% by 2030. And a large part of this mission is to put more electric vehicles on the road.
The federal government detailed its plan today, requiring Canadian drivers to go electric. 20% of all vehicle sales must be electric by 2026. That increases to 60% by 2030 and 100% by 2035.
I'm really excited, looking forward to seeing my family and friends. Some of them I haven't seen since August.
Pearson Airport's getting busier as travelers head out for the holidays. To save time, officials say anyone using YYZ Express can book a spot in the security line. There's also a wait time dashboard on the airport's website.
Remember to keep up to date day and night through our website, ctvnewstoronto.ca, and by downloading the CTV News app.
On the markets, the Canadian dollar is trading higher by about 1/3 of a cent to almost 75 cents US. Oil gained about $1 to almost $74 US a barrel. And the TSX jumped more than 200 points to end the day at 20,839.63.
Well, the Raptors are getting ready to host the Denver Nuggets tomorrow night.
Scotty B trying to work on Smith.
Toronto is coming off a victory against the Charlotte Hornets at Scotiabank Arena last night. The teams went back and forth in the first half, with the Raptors turning it in on the third, going on to win a 114-99 win.
Here in the period, Marner drops it back. Matthews feeds it back. Marner scores!
Tonight, the Leafs welcome the New York Rangers to town. Toronto beat the Broadway Blue Shirts 7-3 a week ago. The Rangers have since won 2 straight and are in first place in the Metropolitan Division. The Leafs beat Pittsburgh 7-0 on Saturday.
And a 3-time Olympic medalist is joining the Professional Women's Hockey League. Cassie Campbell-Pascal will serve as a special advisor. The PWHL is praising the Brampton native for her leadership, passion, and knowledge of the game. Toronto hosts New York in the league's inaugural game on New Year's Day.
Here comes Santa Claus. Yes, he's coming in just a few days. I'm going to take this band wherever I go because I'm really enjoying this. Folks, still a few days left in our goal to build a mountain of toys for kids coming up. We're going to have our final goodbye for the night from Mississauga, the Community Church of the Salvation Army. I'm Andrea Case. We'll be back in a few.
Our mountain of toys got a whole lot larger tonight.
It's thanks in part to the generosity shown at the Mississauga Community Church. Let's check in one last time with CTV's Andrea Case. Andrea.
Sorry, love, I'm cutting you off there. The band's still playing. Erin is here. Erin, we've got a few days left. Where are we going to be tomorrow?
Yeah, so tomorrow we're going to be at Best Buy in Oshawa. Thursday, we're going to be at the Eaton Centre in downtown Toronto. It's our final week of the Toy Mountain campaign in support of the Salvation Army, and we're almost 50% of the way there, so this week is really crucial. If you can bring a new unwrapped toy to any of those locations or find locations at toymountain.ca, it's a really important time.
Thanks, Josiah, come on over here. Josiah was, you were a dancer before, you're not a dancer, you're a musician now. What are you looking most forward to this Christmas?
To give toys to kids in need.
He knows what the meaning of Christmas is. Thank you for joining us. I just surprised him here by coming out. You have been working so hard for Salvation Army. You never want to talk on camera. This is the final push. This is the final push. Give the pitch to the folks at home.
We would like every child to have an amazing Christmas. So please help us build a toy mountain, bring a toy, and make it happen.
Okay, everybody, we're trying to build a toy mountain. One more time, a toy mountain. I'll send it back to the studio.
All right, thank you so much. Thanks everybody.
Guys.
All right, one last look at the forecast. How are things looking tonight?
Pretty clear tonight. We're looking at an overnight low of 3 degrees, feeling like -5 with the wind chill, so not too bad. And if we take a look at the next little while, we've got lots of sunshine in the 7-day forecast. So right now we're sitting at -3, wind chill still there, feeling like -9. Temperatures not too cold over the next little while. I'd say the coldest day is going to be Thursday. We have lots of sunshine to kick off winter that day, though. And then Friday, Saturday, we progressively get milder. We get more cloud cover working in on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Monday, of course, being Christmas Day. We do get 7 degrees and potentially showers.
All right, thanks, Michelle. Be sure to join Omar Sachedina tonight at 11 for CTV National News, followed by Zoraida Allman with our next local newscast at 11:30.
In the meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and online at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Michelle Jobin and all of us at CTV News, thank you for watching and have a good night.